In the vastness of space, silence had lasted for centuries. Civilizations rose and fell, and yet no one had heard from humanity in a long time. The human race was a distant memory, a myth among the stars. But that silence was shattered one fateful day when a strange signal was detected on the edge of the galaxy. The signal was weak but unmistakable. It carried a message, though it was fragmented and old. It wasn't just a distress call. It was from humanity, or so the experts believed. No one knew for sure where the signal came from, but one thing was clear: it was a human transmission. The galaxy had forgotten Earth, but Earth had not forgotten the galaxy. The Galactic Council, an alliance of the most powerful alien races, immediately sent a team of their best scientists to track down the source of the signal. Their ship, the Odyssey, moved at the speed of light towards the location of the signal's origin. Inside the ship, the crew was nervous. None of them had ever heard of humans before. To most of them, the idea of a human surviving in space seemed impossible. Their stories were legends, things spoken of only in hushed tones. Yet, here they were, chasing a signal that could prove humanity still existed. Captain Zara, the leader of the expedition, stood in front of the crew, looking out through the ship's large windows at the stars. "We're not just investigating a signal," she said, her voice calm but filled with purpose. "We're about to uncover something that could change everything we know about the galaxy." The crew nodded, their faces filled with anticipation. As the Odyssey drew closer to the source, the signal grew clearer. The crew could now hear the galaxy was a peaceful place. Or at least, that's what the aliens believed. Across the stars, different species lived side by side, cooperating and thriving. Humanity was nothing but a faded memory, spoken of in myths and old stories. No one really knew what happened to them, or if they were ever real at all. But deep in the corners of the universe, something had been hidden for a long time. Captain Naira of the Cruxian fleet stared at the radar screen. The blips were faint, but they were there, moving in patterns she didn't recognize. Something was wrong. The message came through, a burst of static and broken words. "Help, the humans not gone, they're still..." Fighting. Naira's heart raced. The humans? No one had seen a human in centuries. She turned to her second-in-command, Zor, a tall and strong alien from a distant world. "Are we sure this is accurate?" she asked, her voice steady, though her mind was filled with questions. Zor nodded, his eyes narrowing. "It's coming from an old, forgotten system, a place no one has dared to explore. I've heard rumors about humans who didn't vanish." The idea seemed impossible. According to the records, humanity had been destroyed after a war with the Axarath, a ruthless empire that had crushed them in a single, decisive battle. That was hundreds of years ago. So how could humans still be alive? Naira didn't wait for answers. She ordered the crew to set course for the coordinates. The Starfire broke through the endless expanse of space, moving faster than any ship before it. The mystery gnawed at her mind, but there was one thing she knew for sure: the galaxy had no idea what it was about to find. Hours later, the Starfire arrived at the source of the signal, a barren, cold planet surrounded by wreckage. The surface was dark, with no sign of life. Yet, something pulled at Naira's instincts, a feeling that this place wasn't as dead as it seemed. "Prepare to land," she commanded. The crew moved quickly, their faces tense with anticipation. As the ship touched down, Naira led the way, stepping onto the cracked, lifeless ground. They followed the faint signal, their weapons drawn just in case. The air was still, and the silence was suffocating. Then they found it. Hidden beneath layers of dust and rubble was an old human warship. It was ancient, covered in battle scars, but still intact. The crew stared in awe. This ship should have been destroyed long ago. "We need to get inside," Naira ordered, her voice barely above a whisper. The door of the ship opened with a groan. Inside, the air smelled stale, but there were signs of life. Old equipment hummed faintly, and scattered throughout the ship were signs of a long-forgotten war. Maps, old weapons, and a strange, eerie silence. The crew moved cautiously, unsure of what they would find. In the heart of the ship, they discovered a room sealed with a thick metal door. It took them several minutes to break through. Inside, they found a control room, and in the center, a single figure, a human, unconscious but alive. For 3,000 years, the Exarlok Empire had waited. Their ancestors once fought humans, but the war had ended without a true victor. Back then, humans were primitive, weak, and unorganized. The Exarlok leaders believed they would return one day and finish what their forefathers started. Now the time had come. Their warships, thousands in number, darkened the skies of Earth. Their generals prepared speeches of conquest. Their weapons gleamed, ready to bring humanity to its knees. But there was one problem: humans had no idea who they were. A confusing declaration of war, a massive holographic projection, appeared over every major city on Earth. The Exarlok Emperor himself, wearing golden battle armor, pointed a sharp claw at the people below. Humans, we return after 3 millennia to finish this war. Surrender now or be destroyed. People on the streets looked up. Some paused their morning coffee. Others stopped playing video games. A few even took selfies with the giant alien projection behind them. A teenager squinted at the screen. Who are these guys? A news anchor checked his papers. It seems no record of war with the Exarlok exists. Can we get fact-checking on this? Meanwhile, in a government office, an official scratched his head. Did we fight these guys before? Bob, check the archives. The terrifying first attacked Exarlok were growing impatient. They expected fear, panic, surrender. Instead, they got memes, confusion, and people going about their day. Angered, the alien general ordered an attack. A colossal plasma missile was fired at a deserted island near Earth's coast. It exploded in a massive fireball. The Exarlok cheered. Surely now, humanity would beg for mercy. But the only response they got was a fine for unauthorized explosions in a restricted area. The general blinked at the message. What is this? A human official casually replied, "You violated international firework regulations. That'll be $500,000. Pay within 30 days or face legal action." The Council of Confusion deep within the Exarlok flagship, the alien leaders sat in frustration. Why are they not afraid? The Emperor growled. A nervous officer hesitated before answering. Sire, it seems humans don't remember us. Silence? What? The Emperor's voice was dangerously low. The officer cleared his throat. They, don't seem to have any record of the previous war. To them, we're just random aliens. The Emperor clenched his fists. 3 millennia of preparation for NOTHING? Humanity finally responds. A message was sent from Earth's Defense Command. A diplomat appeared on screen. He wore a casual hoodie and had a coffee mug in hand. Hey, sorry, but who are you guys again? The Emperor slammed his fist on the table. WEARETHEXARO, okay? ANEMPIREOFCONQUERORS. YEURA and CESTORSFO. UGHT, USINGL, RIO, USB, a TTLA. The human shrugged. Yeah, we don't remember that. He took a sip of coffee. Look, buddy, it's been 3,000 years. We've had like 100 other wars since then. Maybe your ancestors were important, but to be honest, we kind of moved on. The Emperor's eye twitched. Then we shall make you remember. Through war. The humans sighed. All right. Let me check something. Earth's hidden military strength, the Look fleet prepared for battle. They expected a fight against weak, unprepared humans. Then, Earth's real defense system activated. Hundreds of massive warships emerged from hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and deep space. Giant mechanical fleets, built over centuries, surrounded the Exarlok invaders. The humans had evolved far beyond what the Alok expected. Sire. I think we made a mistake, an alien officer stuttered. The Emperor gulped. Nonsense. We shall fight. Then, the human diplomat returned on screen. Hey, so I checked the records. Turns out, Your empire is listed under minor threats, right next to space pirates and rogue asteroids. Silence. Anyway, look, we don't really want to fight. It's been a long week. How about this? Want to join the Intergalactic Party Federation? We've got great food, awesome music, and, trust me, your people would love it. The Zarlik fleet looked at their emperor. The emperor looked at the thousands of human warships, each one far superior to their own. He sighed. Fine. Instead of a battle, they got an invitation to Earth's biggest celebration. Instead of a war, they got music, games, and free food. The galaxy would never forget the day an ancient alien empire declared war on humanity and got invited to a party instead. For centuries, the Galactic Council believed humans were weak. They were small, fragile, and lacked natural weapons. The Council had conquered dozens of worlds, each filled with monstrous creatures, some with claws, others with deadly venom. But humans? They had nothing. Or so the aliens thought. One day, the Zarkful Empire, a race of brutal warlords, invaded Earth. They expected an easy victory. They had plasma cannons, armored war beasts, and elite soldiers. They had conquered planets filled with dragons, venomous creatures, and beasts as tall as mountains. What could weak humans possibly do? The answer was something they never expected. The invasion begins. The Zarkful warships hovered over Earth's major cities. Their soldiers, covered in spiked armor, marched into the streets. Their war beasts, giant creatures with razor-sharp teeth, roared as they stomped through human territory. People ran for shelter. Governments scrambled to respond. But there was one thing the aliens hadn't planned for. The stray dogs of Earth. First encounter, a squad of Zarkful soldiers patrolled the abandoned streets of New York. Their leader, Commander Xrek, growled. Pathetic. Humans flee like insects. Then he heard something. A low growl. He turned. A dog stood at the end of the alley. A big, scarred street dog, its fur dirty but its eyes sharp. More dogs appeared behind it, small ones, big ones, dogs of every kind. They stood together, watching the invaders. Xrek laughed. Ha! Look at these weak creatures. He stepped forward, raising his plasma rifle. The biggest dog barked. A deep, thunderous sound. Then they attacked. The battle of the streets. The first dog lunged at Xrek, sinking its teeth deep into his armor. The metal cracked. The alien screamed as the beast pulled him down. The other dogs followed. Hundreds of them. They leaped onto the aliens, biting, clawing, dragging them down. Some ripped weapons from their hands. Others tore through armor like paper. The Zarkful were 3 times their size, but the dogs fought like demons. A war beast, one of the Zarkful's most powerful creatures, roared and charged. A small pack of terriers ran under it, biting at its legs. The beast tripped and crashed into a building. A Doberman and a pit bull jumped onto an alien officer, shredding his helmet to pieces. A group of golden retrievers tackled a squad, overwhelming them with sheer numbers. In the middle of it all, a lone street dog, scarred from battles with other animals, stood over the defeated commander, growling deep in its throat. Xrek gasped. Impossible. They are just beasts. The dog bared its teeth and bit down. Panic in the Zarkful ranks. The Zarkful retreated in terror. Their elites defeated. Their war beasts broken. Their weapons useless. They called for reinforcements. But by then, it was too late. Every stray dog on Earth had joined the fight. In the mountains, wolves ran alongside their smaller cousins, taking down war machines. In the jungles, feral dogs, strong and wild, tore through alien defenses. Even Pete dogs, tiny chihuahuas, and fluffy poodles joined in, biting at alien ankles and distracting soldiers long enough for bigger dogs to strike. The Zarkful commanders, watching from their mothership, were shaking. This isn't possible, one whispered. How can simple animals be so deadly? The supreme warlord of the Zarkful, a massive, armored beast, stared at the footage. He had fought monsters the size of buildings. He had wrestled with creatures that could melt steel. But never, Never had he seen creatures fight like this. They didn't just attack. They protected. They fought as a pack. They never backed down. He knew then. Humans were never weak, because humans had these creatures by their side. The humiliating retreat within hours, the Zarkvul abandoned Earth. They didn't just lose. They were humiliated. The Galactic Council received their distress signal. Do not invade Earth. Do not fight humans. We barely survived. They're war beasts. The Council was confused. What war beasts? The Zarkvul, still trembling, sent footage of Earth's defenders. Thousands of stray dogs, standing together, victorious. The council members stared in horror. One of them whispered, "Gods. What kind of monsters have humans tamed?" Meanwhile, back on Earth, the street dogs returned to their usual business, chasing cars, digging through trash, and barking at mailmen. They had no idea they had just saved the planet. For centuries, the galactic underworld had one rule: never cross the Shadow Guild. This secretive organization trained the most feared assassins in the universe, deadly warriors who could kill without a sound, vanish without a trace, and strike before their target even knew. They were in danger. Then, his opponent entered. The crowd went silent. A short, lean human stepped onto the battlefield, wearing a tank top, gym shorts, and sneakers. He adjusted his sports sunglasses, cracked his neck, and stretched. "All right, big guy. Let's do this." The crowd erupted in laughter. ISTHISAJ, okay? One alien shouted. Draxor grinned, his massive fangs glinting under the arena lights. "You sent THIS against me?" The human smirked and pulled out a clipboard. "Name's Jake. I'm a personal trainer. And buddy, you have the double UORST form I've ever seen." The first strike, Draxor charged forward, his massive fists swinging like a wrecking ball. Jake sidestepped easily. Draxor swung again. Faster. Stronger. Jake ducked. Not only did he dodge, but he jabbed Draxor's ribs with 2 fingers. Poke. Draxor stumbled back. His entire arm went numb. Jake nodded. "Yup. Thought so. You're not stretching properly before fights, huh?" Draxor snarled. WHAT? The power of a gym trainer. Draxor lunged again, swinging both fists. Jake twisted his body, moving with perfect precision. SWOOSH. Draxor missed. Again, Jake stepped back, arms crossed. "Dude, your posture is terrible. You're using too much upper body strength. That's why you're slow." Draxor growled. IAMNOTSLOW. Jake grinned. "Oh, yeah? Tried to catch me." And then he moved. Speed over strength. Jake wasn't just dodging. He was dancing, jumping, weaving, moving faster than any fighter in the arena had ever seen. Draxor kept swinging, but never landed a hit. Jake, meanwhile, kept poking pressure points. A tap on the shoulder, Draxor's arm locked up. A tap on the knee, his legs wobbled. A flick to the forehead, his vision blurred. Draxor staggered, gasping for air. Jake rolled his shoulders. "You're using all brute force, no technique. If you trained properly, you wouldn't be this tired already." The audience watched in shock. The strongest gladiator in the galaxy was losing. The final blow. Draxor roared in fury. He gathered all his strength for one final devastating punch. Jake sighed. "All right, let me show you real strength." CRACK. Jake's fist shot forward, landing square on Draxor's chest. A perfect 1-inch punch. BOOM. Draxor flew backward, slamming into the Colosseum wall with a deafening crash. The entire arena went silent. Draxor didn't move. Jake dusted off his hands. "See? Strength isn't about size. It's about control. A new legend is born." The announcer's voice trembled. WWINNERJAKETHEUMAN. The audience erupted in chaos. Draxor's trainers rushed to revive him. The other fighters stared in fear. A human, a simple gym trainer, had just defeated the undefeated champion. Jake stretched his arms. All right, who's next? No one stepped forward. Because that day, the galaxy learned one thing: never underestimate a human gym trainer. The Xarnak Empire had conquered over 1,000 worlds. Their warriors were strong, ruthless, and unstoppable. And now they had set their sights on Earth. The fleet of warships descended from the sky. Millions of alien soldiers marched forward, their massive weapons ready to crush anything in their path. The Galactic Council had already declared Earth's doom. But there was one problem. It was December, and the aliens had never experienced winter before. The invasion begins. General Vrotan of the Xarnak army stood tall, his 4 eyes glowing with confidence. March forward! Crush these weak creatures. His soldiers obeyed, stomping across Earth's frozen ground. Their energy weapons hummed, ready to blast anything in sight. But then one of the soldiers slipped. THUD. The rest stopped and stared. Then another soldier slipped. Then another. And another. Within seconds, the mighty Xarnak warriors were falling like dominoes. Earth was covered in ice and snow, and the Xarnak had no idea how to walk on it. The humans watch in amusement from a distance. A group of human soldiers watched the chaos through binoculars. One of them, Sergeant James, raised an eyebrow. Are they slipping on the ice? His partner, Corporal Lee, burst out laughing. Dude, they have no winter training. Look at 'em. The humans had expected a brutal battle. Laser fire. Explosions. Bloodshed. Frostbite and panic. The Xarnak weren't just slipping. They were freezing. Their armor was built for warm planets, not sub-zero temperatures. Frost formed on their weapons, making them useless. Their exposed skin turned purple and numb. Some tried to retreat to their ships, but the doors were frozen shut. Panic spread through the army. General Vrotan's mandibles chattered. What kind of W weapon is this? A human soldier overheard him and grinned. It's called winter, buddy. Snowballs and surrender. The humans couldn't resist. One of them bent down, packed some snow into a ball, and threw it at a Xarnak soldier's face. SPLAT. The alien screeched in terror and collapsed, thinking he'd been attacked. The humans howled with laughter. Soon, the entire alien army was under attack with snowballs. The mighty Xarnak warriors cowered, hiding behind frozen trees. They had shields against plasma cannons, but no defense against snow. The Great Retreat. General Vrotan grabbed his communicator. RETREAT. GTUSOUTOFHERE. But there was one last problem. Their ships completely covered in ice. The engines wouldn't start. The doors wouldn't open. They were trapped. And the humans? They simply set up campfires, drank hot chocolate, and watched. By morning, half the Xarnak army had surrendered. The rest? Still frozen solid. A lesson in warfare. The Galactic Council received a desperate message from the Xarnak. Earth is unconquerable. Their ice is deadlier than any weapon. We surrender. Earth's president laughed and sent a simple reply: come back in summer. If you dare.